Hello everyone, welcome back to the Geekdom Initiative. We have a full house today. Don, my partner, and you know what? We have a guest of First Earther from the other side of the island, I guess. Dave from the Melbourne Entertainment Group. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Now, am I more of an other or am I more of the French woman? Because I am Canadian.
That's a good point.
No, you're back in the plane, man. You went through it with us. Yeah, you went through it with us, man. You went through everything with us.
Yeah, you're on Tammy. You're on Tammy.
I am excited to be here getting to talk about one of my favorite shows with one of my favorite people, and maybe another one of my favorite people. I've just never met this man before, and talking about one of the best episodes of Lost. I'm so thankful that you guys let me be a part of this. I love the show so far.
Anytime, man. You're welcome here anytime. We are talking about season 1, episode 4, Walkabout. And I was telling Tom before you jumped in the green room, I actually got this. I thought this and the first episode with Anthony Cooper. I thought it was one and the same. I forgot it was 2 separate episodes. So,
yeah, I think because of how much. I'm sorry, I have watched the other episodes of your show, but just remind me, is this a spoiler show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I guess the show's been done since 2011, so.
2010, man.
2010. Yeah. It's all the same. I think just because of how often Anthony Cooper shows up, you forget that there was a whole flashback before we even knew about him. And the first villain of the John Locke flashbacks was Randy Nation.
Yes.
That guy sucks.
He's
a bad boss no matter where you put him.
And give me my mistaken, he has a connection to Hugo, right?
Yeah, he's Hurley's boss from Mr. Clucks.
So, did he get a promotion or did he get fired or how did he go from that?
I think he got transferred when Mr. Clucks got hit by a meteor.
Right.
Damn, I forgot about that.
That's funny.
How could you forget about it?
That's funny.
A chicken restaurant got hit by a meteor, Ben. It's a big deal.
Directly, literally directly got hit.
The only memorable chicken restaurant, well, there is one thing I do remember about Mr. Clucks. Not in your season 6, but the season Smalldown competitor worked there.
Oh, Sam Levine works there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
I forgot. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh,
They didn't show up until like the final season, but yeah.
That's cool. I can't wait for that. That'll be fun.
Cluck day. I need to get a life.
We all do.
Hey, you have Mr. Clucks and I have Pollos Hermanos that I want to go to. Oh, do I? But we're not here to talk about that.
Cartel Meteor. Which one's worse?
So what are your overall thoughts, both of you, about this episode?
I think this is the episode where you really are. I was telling Ben before we started, this is the episode where you're either in or out, I think.
Yeah, this is, for me and a lot of people, this is the episode that really is quintessential Lost. Amazing flashbacks, twists and turns.
Yeah.
Some of the most iconic lines come from this. I too often say 300-pound bull with scimitar-like tusks and a surly disposition. I say that far too often in my regular life.
It's a great line too. It's a great line when he said, "Yeah."
And I think one of the more haunting endings to an episode, when we get that reveal of him in the wheelchair,
Yeah.
it gave me chills every time I see it.
And did you know that was a last minute addition to the story? They were
No.
What's it? Damon Lindelof, showrunner and producer of the show, would famously barge into the writer's room and say, "This is what it is. This is the idea." At the 11th hour, and this was one of them. Like, they were getting ready to write, to go into filming the episode, and he was like, "I was watching the pilot again, and I saw the wheelchair. What if Locke, all his flashbacks, he's sitting, and then he's in a wheelchair?" And he apparently, this was so close to the end of the production cycle going into filming that the director, whose name I don't have offhand right now, was like, "No, I don't want that. That." I don't know where I cut off, but that's
Yeah. I mean, it is a great episode. From the opening, where you hear the noise in the camp, and you realize it's boars. Everybody scared, and then it cuts to the reveal of Locke being a great hunter with all these knives and.
Well, yeah.
And few questions. Somebody asked him how you got that on the plane.
Checked it.
He said he checked it, but should not be okay. Should not be allowed checking all those knives on the plane.
No. No. I'm assuming it was like he had to check it and it went underneath where it was nowhere near him.
Yeah.
So,
You can't bring 42 knives in your carry-on. This was definitely he paid for it. I gotta ask though, he's going on Walkabout. Is he throwing these knives from his chair? What does he need 42 knives for?
You know what's funny? I literally thought the same thing at one point. I was like, why does he have all these? Like, I can understand maybe he has like a machete or like something like that because he's going into the woods, and he is in a wheelchair. But yeah, like you said, like 42 knives. What does he need a whole entire case of knives for?
And he wanted to go on the walkabout. And I get the whole purpose of it. He wanted to he could still do it.
Yeah.
But how does he expect to get around the whole time?
Don't tell him what he can't do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what, too? I mean, obviously not to get too far ahead, but what we know about him that happened up to this part, he's emasculated. Like, he wants to feel like a man again at this point in his life, too. So,
yeah,
it is a weird point in his life also.
In the Lost Will and Testament, which is done by Javier Grillo-Marx-Swatch, which was one of the writers for the first season, he talks about how they really wanted to make Locke into this Willy Loman-esque character in this first episode from Death of a Salesman, where he's just so depressed and everything, but he still is trying to overcome this barrier that he has. So I think, Ben, you asking how does he expect to do it? I think Locke thinks, I'll figure it out on the day. I'm not going to stop.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like in the flashbacks, you see him on the phone talking to somebody named Helen.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that is also Kenny Seagal's name in the show later on, right?
Yes, it is.
So, I wonder if he picked this Helen to talk to on the phone because it's the same name.
I don't know a lot about phone sex lines. You know, I'm just going to out myself as saying that. I don't know a lot. That's not an area I expertise.
Well, why did we bring him on then?
I know.
I thought we had an expert here. I mean,
I like to think that, you know, he's clearly has a rapport with the woman on the other end.
Sure. Yeah.
I think at the end of the first session, he was like, "Do you mind if I call you Helen?"
Oh.
And
Okay.
and then for the I imagine this has been going on for. He got paralyzed 4 years ago so probably like 3.5 years. He's been talking to this woman,
and it's $90 an hour. Crazy.
And she knows that he can't afford that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not an expert. It's too expensive.
Right? Definitely way too expensive.
$90 an hour.
Dude. Wow.
And this is 2004. You got to say your credit card information over the phone.
Yeah.
Very trusting people.
And this is when was this? When was season 1?
2004. You can tell from Sawyer wearing a long sleeve shirt under his short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even back then, $90 an hour. Jeez.
Man.
And
That's pre-recession money. Damn.
Dude.
yeah, wow. There's a money bag here. Well, you know what? He did get money from the government, probably.
Well,
right?
and you know what? He does say when they're having the little argument right before she hangs up, he's like, "Money isn't the issue." So apparently, he's got money to throw around.
Yeah.
Okay, Mac.
Yeah, let's get back. Sorry.
Back on the island. Back on the island.
Can I I cut out for a second when we were talking about the boars.
Yeah.
I love the reveal of the boars, and right before that, Hurley asks, "What's going on in there?" And Jack's like, "Oh, it's probably Sawyer." That's where it's like, "I'm right behind you, jackass."
Yes.
Which I know you guys were tracking the nicknames. Does Jackass count because it's a nickname for Jack?
I think so because
It's
he's using it like
lazy, though.
jackass, like not like jackass. Like I think he's like, yeah. I think it counts. I think it counts. It's not his strongest one, no, but it's definitely
It's no light sticks, but
right. But he is trying to be clever. He thinks
He is.
at least he thinks he's being clever.
but it's like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, he thinks he's clever. Yeah, he always thinks he's the smartest person in the room. So.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that. How about you? Shannon getting Charlie new fish for her.
Yeah.
New food she could fish for herself.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about that?
I love it because it up until this point, we all know that Charlie is eventually going to fall in love with another blonde woman on the island.
Right.
Sure.
But the only reason Charlie signed up to be part of the radio team was because Shannon was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to get his heart broken by Shannon this time so we can break that relationship. This also sets up the Charlie Hurley dynamic.
Oh.
So if I have to see Shannon manipulate Charlie to get Charlie to meet his best friend Hugo Reyes, then I'll take it.
I've always said Charlie and Hugo. If it was the year of live action Lion King with humans instead of animals, Charlie and Hugo would be the perfect Timon.
Timon and Pumbaa. Oh my god.
So just so we're clear,
that's great.
So this is live action Lion King. It's not like what they did, which was all CGI.
This is
Are
like
you
actual
talking like
humans.
people in like in costumes?
Maybe.
Like in the season 3 polar bear?
No. Wait, what?
No, like you know how like when
the season 3 polar bear is just a guy in a suit. You can very obviously tell.
No, like if they did a live action Lion King, but I guess it wouldn't have been called Lion King. If it really was done with humans and not animals.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
So Hamlet.
Not Hamlet.
No, I've got the workaround. I've got the Lion plus King in the vein of Romeo plus Juliet.
There you go.
We're modernizing.
Only if you get John
Daryl
Leguizamo
Perno's in
back.
And who?
Sorry?
Hmm?
I don't know
Who was
who you were talking to. We talked over each other.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
No, what did you say, Dave?
Oh, I said because I was talking about Romeo plus Juliet, and Harold Perrineau. Michael's in that. Lost connection.
Right.
I'm on
Yeah.
theme, boys.
Wow.
Well,
I was saying we gotta get John Leguizamo back.
oh God, can we not? Can we not? Then say we did.
Oh, come on, John.
So Mark, Kate, and Michael were
Yeah.
hunting in the woods. How did Michael get hit? A bullet hits him, right?
Yeah.
Runs him. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I love this pairing because this is probably the last episode of the Jack was supposed to die in the post Jack was supposed to die in the pilot stuff, where Kate is still the one who's going out there, and she's also got the secret agenda of I've got to put up the radio transceiver and stuff that she gets from Saeed.
Yeah.
you go along with that.
Oh, so wait a minute. So let me ask you a question. Because these episodes were the Jack stuff was added in later.
No, so well, Michael Keaton. So in the pilot was always written as 2 parts. End of part 1, Jack dies because it's fucking Michael Keaton. How could we kill him? But then Michael Keaton was like, I don't want to come to Hawaii. So they got Matthew Fox, and at that point, Matthew Fox was coming off of Party of 5. He was a big deal. So they're like, all right, you're the star now. But the original plan was Kate, who is the convict, is going to have to rise above her criminal status to become the leader. That's why she goes on the second track. That's why she goes on this track.
Sure.
And why the first flashback we get is Kate flashback, because they were writing Jack stuff as the plane flew, because they were like, he's not supposed to be the lead of the show, but he's the most famous person we have.
Wow.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, to go along with that, I wonder if that last tag of the episode, when we first see Jack's father,
Not played by Jack's father.
What?
It's played by a different guy. Did you not notice that? It's not
No,
Jack's
I didn't
dad.
notice it.
Go back and look. It's a different actor than they have playing Christian Shepherd in the next episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hadn't cast him yet.
Huh.
Well, who is it in this one? Do we know?
It's Terry. It's Ian Terry, I believe, is his name.
Okay.
It's nobody of note.
Ah.
Oh no, sorry. Ian Terry is Jack's eventual dad. I have no idea who this is. It's just some guy.
Who only knows Timmy O'Quinn in the wig? How's that?
Well, when he chases after him, he finds Locke.
Yes.
There you go.
So
And Locke then becomes a smoke monster.
Yes, he does.
But
it's all connected.
And the last thing we see is the fire going up over his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very telling.
What never happened? Oh, and this, I've been telling Todd, this is the first episode where we see Rose. Yeah. On the island. We might have seen her on the plane, I can't remember.
Well, we saw her in the one flashback.
Okay. This is
that
the
was it.
first time we get a real conversation with her and Jack.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that.
Yes.
I love Rose is one of my favorite. She has maybe my favorite line of the whole show in season 3, where they're going to the beacon. Season 3 or yeah, it's the end of season 3, where Bernard, Saeed, and Jin have stayed behind to blow up the others, but only 2 explosions go off, and Jack's like, it worked. It totally worked. Hey guys, we gotta. And Rose says, if you say live together, die alone, I'm gonna kill you.
Oh yeah. That's funny. That's great.
I just love Rose and Bernard. They know whenever they show up, they add a nice little slice of life to the island.
Yeah.
That's another great line from Hurley in regards to Bernard. So, Rose's husband's white. Didn't see that one coming. But yeah, Rose and Bernard are great. And I love this episode. If we're talking about Rose, she will so often from now in other episodes, she'll become like the sage compass for people. Whether it's Charlie after he gets hung up in a tree by Ethan.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, we're all in pain. You ain't special. Or in season 5, where everyone's like, and Jack's got a bomb. And she's like, there's always a bomb. So you guys are always running into the jungle trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So I love that in this episode, Jack has to bring her into being her full self.
Yeah. No, I think you have to buy that relationship, and you definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so special. You buy into these characters, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one bad character. Hell, I even like Nicky Apollo. And they're just nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rose also sets up a great thing here where a lot of the Rose conversation sets up so many things that we're going to see down the road.
Sure.
Whether or not the first inclination of other people being alive, where she says, my husband is not dead. And then Jack's like, oh, no, he was in the tail section. They're probably thinking the same thing about us. And it's like, fuck, yeah, you're so right. Or where she says, I'm letting you off the hook. That will be something that comes back several times for Jack. Whether or not his ex-wife says, I'm letting you off the hook to make me dance at my wedding. It's also the last thing Boone will say to him before he dies.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think someone else says it to him, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I'm failing you guys.
No.
I'm coming in, hijacking your podcast, and I can't even remember all the lines.
I feel like Kate says it to him once.
Really? Okay.
Maybe.
I could be wrong.
She hates Jack. She would never say
I know. I know. They all hate each other.
Yes.
And then one big hate fest on that island. I also like the beginnings of, this goes back to the last episode too, the beginnings of a friendship between Michael and Son.
Yeah.
We know where that leads.
Yes.
But I like that friendship. What do you guys think of that?
You go first, because
I was that one. See, that one we're still too early for that one, because as much as she helps him out here, obviously, with watching Walt for him, but we're still too early in that relationship, because he's the one. Isn't he the one that finds out that she can speak English first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
she is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So there's. Sorry, I guess that's a spoiler, but yeah. No,
I just talked about Boone dying.
Yeah,
it's very true.
Yeah,
You told me this was a spoiler show.
It is.
Yeah. So I think we're too early in that relationship yet, but so far, I like where they're going with it, but we don't know that she understands him yet. So that's
right.
We still think right now that they don't understand each other. So it's still a little bit of a weird relationship.
I hate it.
Really?
I'm going to do.
First of all, Son, especially season 1 Son.
Okay.
Where she gets to be like the nurse to Jack's doctor a lot of the time, whether it's with the asthma inhalers or the whole Boone situation. And early season Son, and even a little bit into season 4-5 Son, is one of my favorite, easily in my top 5. But Michael, she's a married woman. I don't like the romantic undertones we're putting on these scenes. Also, you got to leave your son with somebody. Is it going to be the woman who doesn't speak English? And also, lest we forget, last episode, you walked in on her showering.
Yes.
This is This is the lead Walt with the pregnant lady. I get it. She has a clearly fake Australian accent. She's hiding something. But anyone else? Shannon, for God's sakes.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Don't even
Yeah,
with Shannon.
No.
He'll wreck that kid. Then Shannon at that point would wreck that kid.
Yeah. But yeah,
funny.
I hate that. I don't. I love Sun and I love the Kwans in general. I hate the Michael Sun relationship. I'm like, this. I don't like this at all. I don't like it at all.
Two questions. Do you think her knowing English, do you think that was a last minute ad for the show?
No, because this is where I'll plug some of my other stuff I listen to. I think the Hatch is must listen podcasting for any Lost fans. Also, it's really extensive. They get a lot of great interviews with casts, and they really do a lot of great stuff on that show. Down the Hatch, on the other hand, just a couple of goofballs talking about Lost every week, and I love that. And both of them did a thing in the early seasons where they would you can find the series Bible that Damon Lindelof, J.J. Abrams gave to ABC, being like, hey, we have a show, and it had breakdowns for each character, and big bold letters in Sons is speaks English. It's like that's her secret. So even though it's very funny that she speaks English and Jin doesn't, but in actuality it was the other way around, where young Jin Kim's really big in Korea and Daniel Day Kim doesn't speak any Korean.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they had to teach each other on set.
That is funny. What was the other point? Do you think they were building a Sun Michael thing in early season 1?
Yes, I definitely think they were. There's so many moments that you'll see in like House of the Rising Sun. She is the person, she confides in Michael to get Jin unhandcuffed. There's a lot of other times where they have all these knowing glances. She only agrees to go to the caves after Michael agrees to go to the caves. So there's a lot of stuff that's in there that I think they do eventually abandon, but after she poisons him. But
oh, well, let me clear here. The only reason they want Michael off in season 2 is because the damn kid grew like 6 inches.
oh yeah, he became a man.
Yeah, who knew? Who knows what his story would have been if that kid stayed a kid?
Yeah. I don't know. That's the one thing I don't know.
I don't know. I don't you think she had to go through that though because of how close her and Jin then become after that?
I think when you're looking at it as like a whole picture, the flashbacks where she's cheating on Jin with Asian Mr. Clean, I think has already treaded this ground that the Michael storyline. It becomes like a hat on a hat, I think.
Okay.
Look at all this.
Fair. That's fair.
Look at all this Kwan content we're getting out of the Locke episode. I love it.
Oh, I love the Quan. I love them too, man. I really do. Once they officially say no, we're together again, and I love them, man. They're awesome.
Now you're bringing it back to Locke.
Yeah.
I like each flashback you see. Yeah, he is getting ready for this walkabout. Mm-hmm. And that final one you see him at the, I wouldn't say recruiting office, but that doesn't feel that. Whatever.
It's like a travel, like a travel area, it's where they meet up, I guess.
The Walkabout office, we're not Australian. We don't get it. You talk to Jess. I'm sure she knows all about Walkabout offices.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's actually extremely offensive.
It's just like
I didn't
McDonald's.
realize that your station was that your background was the Looking Glass.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
like it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look, there's Bonnie and Charlie. Oh, look at them. Greta. They're gonna shoot Mikhail. He's about to come out of the water.
Oh, I know.
I shouldn't know exactly where that scene is in that episode. I need a life. I'm married. I gotta pull my life together.
But that final outburst Locke had.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what the cat knew.
Yeah.
I think all of us can agree. On top 5 best moment of the show. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think
Top
yeah,
5
that's-
lock moment for sure.
Yeah. It's up
I
there,
mean-
man. Him throwing that knife too is and it going right next to Sawyer's head is pretty good too, though.
Yeah. The only reason I wouldn't put it in my top 5 is I think the moment in Deus Ex Machina where he's pounding on the hatch, why I did everything you wanted, and why did you do this to me? Is a better version of this scene, but I love the first utterance of his classic catchphrase.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Going back to the knife throwing part you were mentioning.
I like what Jack says to him when
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna say, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Jack says, you're either one hell of an aim or you're one bad of an aim.
Yeah, this is a great one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, like, he really didn't like Sawyer all of a sudden. I don't know if what Sawyer did in the last episode, but he had something with him right off the bat.
Well, he didn't kill the marshal, and he made Jack kill the marshal instead. I think this and next episode, it's very important to remember that Jack just killed a guy. Like he had to euthanize the marshal right before all of this happened, and everyone was like, "Hey, Doc, you're the leader," and he's like, "I just killed a guy. I need to deal with that." And also Sawyer was doing the whole "I'm in the wild" thing where he's looting the bodies. So Jack and Sawyer, you forget because the show eventually becomes Locke versus Jack. That in the beginning it was all Sawyer versus Jack.
Yeah. Well,
I would say the first 3 seasons with Jack and Sawyer.
Yeah.
It really did become Jack versus Locke in the end of season 4, I think.
I know we're talking about Walkabout. Hard disagree. I think the first episode, like I think when Boone dies, it becomes Locke versus Jack. Because at that point, like, you have the whole dealing with the hatch and like, do we push the button? It also you killed Boone. It's like I didn't kill Boone. It's like you did.
I have a fair point. And
yeah, but I don't know. But him and Sawyer go at it for a while.
They do, but I think very telling in season 2, when they're going to spring the trap, Sawyer says he says I screwed her about Anna Lucia right after she died, and Jack's like, why'd you tell me that? And he says, because you're the closest thing I have to a friend out here. And it's like, I think post, there's a lot of Sawyer becomes, I think, like the douchey friend that we all have to Jack. But it really, I think Jack, it becomes a man of science versus man of faith.
right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come onto your show and make it a whole series retrospective.
No, you know what?
Dude,
Yeah.
this is great.
Love it. I think in season 1, when Sawyer needs glasses, and Jack like makes him jump through hoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
Like,
That's absolutely that is a good episode.
That's so great because it ends with one of my favorite Hurley moments where he looks at him and says, "You look like steamrolled Harry Potter."
I like the episode when he runs out of books and he's reading the magazines and just reading anything at that point just to have something to read.
Oh, is that when they figure out that Turnip Head only responds to Sawyer's voice to go to sleep? Is that when he runs out of all the stuff?
I think so, because he's reading the magazine to him. Yes.
He's just reading like and the Turbo Ford 700.
Yes.
I don't know anything about cars. I'm just making up words.
Yeah.
No,
you're right. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
But back to this episode.
Yeah.
I love.
So I mean, we all do agree though that Locke can't do this. I mean, he definitely shouldn't have been doing this. That guy was right for stopping it.
Oh yeah, he should not, like, the insurance premiums alone. You can't bring a man in a wheelchair into a walkabout. Like
I feel bad for him, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, dude, I kind of get it. Like, I kind of.
This guy can't come.
Well, let's not forget. He has his destiny to do this. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he never went to Sydney to do this, he would not have been on that plane.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
It was his destiny to go to that, and let's not forget, we're not there yet in our show, but let's not forget who gave him the idea to go on the Walkabout to begin with.
Matthew Abaddon.
Is that the guy's name?
That's his name. Well, it's Lance Reddick, but the character's name is Matthew Abaddon.
That's a cool name.
That's such a cool name.
I really wanted to root for Locke. I really did in this season.
Yeah.
And there are just things that happen throughout the season where obviously you can't, but I really wanted to root for him.
He has such a sad life. It's hard not to root for him.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about Locke is he makes all the wrong decisions. Literally everything he ever does is the thing he didn't even kill the boar. Like, the smoke monster had to do that for him.
Yeah.
Like, he should not have been out there doing that.
Sure.
But then going forward, like, did you really only need 3 people? Why didn't you bring, like, I'm sure Saeed or Jin would have been a big help. I guess Jin's not really hanging out with people yet.
Don't forget, he offered food to Hurley, and Hurley turned him down, pretty much insulting him.
But he brought, that sea urchin brought Aaron back to life. That was the first kick after Claire had Jin's food.
Yeah.
True.
Great face acting on Daniel Day. Not in this episode. I won't talk about it. I'm sorry. I don't think Jin's even in this episode, and I've talked about him so much.
Actually, I don't think he is. Yeah.
You know what? Vincent wakes him up. That's all he's in.
Yeah. Okay.
Because what we wouldn't all do for a dog like Vincent. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can, I know I've talked a lot, but what I love, and something that I don't know if you guys have been tracking, is the musical cues from Michael Giacchino in this are the real MVP, and the life and death theme gets played for the first time here, which is one of the best themes that they use for when someone is either killed, born, or brought into or excommunicated from the group. And it plays for the first time when Rose comes back into the group. And pay attention, because that'll be the same song that plays over, like, Aaron's birth and Boone's death, and then whenever Locke gets kicked out of the group. Really, Giacchino's music here is just so good.
I was gonna say, we have talked about that in the last couple episodes, is the music. Yeah, it's definitely one of the stars of the show.
And Giacchino in the This is what makes him my second favorite composer. It fits the show so well, and he's incredible. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I told Ben too that I think this is my favorite opening to a show. Just the simplicity of it. Just the simplicity of it. I think
Just
is
the
so
Lost coming
perfect.
in.
Yeah, and the ominous
beautiful.
music behind it. Yeah, it's so perfect. It's so great.
It's my favorite end tag. We're just lost.
Yeah.
boom.
I just think for what the show is supposed to be a mystery, and it's just it just gives it that feel. It really just gives it that feel.
And this episode like exemplifies that, where other than what did Kate do, I think why was Locke in a wheelchair?
Yeah,
was probably one of the biggest mysteries that I don't think we get that episode until like season 3.
The Man from Tallahassee, season 3.
right,
Is that the Man from Tallahassee?
I'm
Wow.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
No, that's the Sawyer episode.
No, that's the Brig.
Oh, is it?
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The Brig is a Locke flashback, but it's on island flashback with
I
Richard.
thought the Man from Tallahassee was one of the Sawyer episodes where they do the con man.
Yeah, maybe you know.
No, the Man from Tallahassee is definitely talking about Anthony Cooper.
Okay,
because that's after Locke. That's after Locke blows up the submarine, and Ben is like, Richard, go get the Man from Tallahassee, and it's Anthony Cooper.
Okay, fair enough.
All tied up.
Gotcha. Okay.
How do you think of him? Do we ever find out how they got Anthony?
He got in a car crash, and last thing he remembers, he was in an ambulance, and then he woke up there. So I imagine Ethan's dead. He's usually my off-island hitman when I say who did this thing. But I assume the others like crashed their car into him, stole him in an ambulance, and then took him.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you know that. I would be shocked if you didn't know that. The guy who plays Ethan, you know who his real life cousin is?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't have been shocked if you didn't know that.
That's one of two reasons that J.J. Abrams ends up directing Ghost Protocol.
You mean 3? Not 4.
Directs 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He knew that guy, so he knew Tom, and then because of that, they did like a little like not writer's room, but like actors and directors talking to each other, and then they just got talking, and Tom Cruise was like, "Oh man, I love Felicity. Do you want to direct a Mission Impossible?" And J.J. Abrams was like, "Yeah, I'd love to direct a Mission Impossible." Tom Cruise walked out of the room, came back, and was like, "All right, you're doing 3." And he was like, "What?"
That's awesome.
Tom Cruise, you gotta love Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on Tom Cruise, but yeah, what the show is sometimes.
Oh, the man. Oh, wait a minute. That's the man behind the curtain. Never mind. Sorry. But what I love about this episode in particular is I love how it's utilizing Locke. On Island, he looks like the most capable person in the world.
Yep.
Right.
And everyone else around him has every reason to believe him, but we know he's full of it.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it never does. The only like slight thing that happens is after Locke gets hit by Locke and Michael get gored by the boar. Locke calls Kate Helen.
Yes.
And that's the only like breaking in the armor that happens, but it's such a good it's such a good juxtaposition for us, the audience. Be like, any moment they're gonna find out he's full of shit. Any moment now.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
Is it real that moment they never brought up again? Or again, it's really not that important in the big scheme of things, right? Him calling Kate Helen.
No, I don't think it's ever brought up again.
Yeah.
That did. I didn't watch Lost live, but and I talked about this at the time. But my sister did, and she told me that her and all her friends, after hearing Helen on the phone sex line and then Locke calling Kate Helen, the only thing they cared about was not how was Locke still in a wheelchair, or how was Locke not in a wheelchair anymore. It was, who is Helen? She is going to be very important.
Oh,
And apparently that
Sure.
was like a big deal. And like, I love Katie Seagal, but like not really a big deal when it comes down to it.
Right.
no,
right.
I mean, this isn't even like the biggest show she's on.
No.
Yeah, I know. 8 simple rules for dating my teenage daughter. That's definitely the big one.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That her and that getting Cooper's make the show too.
And what's his name? He died of a heart attack on set. What's his name?
Oh, Sean Renner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And David Spade.
And they've been Spade. And James Conner.
Oh my god, what a great show. Man from Tallahassee is the episode where Locke gets pushed out the window.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that Mike from Suits? Have I never realized that that's who the grandson is? Oh my god, it is. Sorry, I'm on IMDb. I just looked up, looking through the cast photos, and I just never realized that the grandson of like the old woman that Anthony Cooper's marrying is Mike from Suits. Like, that's great.
I've never seen that show.
Not, you know what? If you got nothing else to do, it's a great background show.
Fair enough.
But back to Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think so this is where we finally see some weird stuff happening. We see the stuff with Jack seeing his dad, and we see Locke obviously regaining the ability to walk, which we again still a mystery, but at least we see that part of it. So this is where I think this is where you're either hooked or you're not on this show. I think this is where you know what I mean, because this is where some people are just going to be like, oh, this is too what do you mean, this is too weird, or just whatever, and we'll walk away. So I love that this episode is strong enough to get people in to keep watching it, because there's so much more with the character stuff and that stuff that they do that keeps you interested. So yeah,
Oh, for sure.
it's well done. And like I said, that mystery part of it also just, I think any show that can keep you, I need to see the next episode, every episode going is how you keep an audience, coming back.
Yeah.
No, you say something, Dave, please.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love. They do this all throughout season 1. Is they will seed what the next episode is going to be.
Yeah.
In the prior episode, so I love seeing Jack's dad, because that's going to obviously play a big part next episode. And then after that, we're going to get in the next episode, we're going to get like a lot of Quan stuff. And then the episode after that is all the Quan stuff.
Yeah.
And then the Moth and Confidence Man and Solitary. Oh, I love Solitary. I want to come back for that one.
Solitary. Which one is Solitary again?
Solitary is Saeed's first flashback episode. It's also the French woman episode.
Yeah, you have to come back for that.
Sure. Yeah.
So another thing that foreshadowing for next episode.
Yeah.
We see the cave for the first time. What I love about that is I'm sorry?
Do we see the caves?
Isn't that weird sacrifice of water? That he goes running after his father, and then he end up at the cave?
Yeah, that's the next episode, not this one.
Yeah, I hear next episode.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was setting up, I think, right?
I'm so sorry, Ben. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I come here with bad internet and talking too much, and then I'm trying to talk over you. Ugh.
Don't throw him off, man. Me and Josh mess with him too much on other shows. We try to break him.
Let me hang on. What I like about that episode, we see skeletons, but we don't get the payoff to that until the
For a
final
while.
season.
Yeah.
Until the final season.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. I remember I was convinced that those skeletons were time-traveled Rose and Bernard.
Oh, that would have been fun.
I
That
thought
would
that
have been interesting.
until the episode where they revealed those skeletons, I thought it was Rose and Bernard.
That's fun. Damn. That would have been cool.
That would have been sad though. That would have been sad as hell.
What? They spent they're planning to suspend their whole lives on the island.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
When they're so end, they're still there, right? They don't leave.
They don't
They
want to
don't
because
die.
they leave, Rose dies, right?
Yeah.
I just love them together. I
Yeah.
love them together.
Oh, yeah.
They're so
I like when they run back into them later after they leave and are on the road. And she's like, what are you guys doing back here? Like, just leave us alone.
And to tie it back into this episode, I love the way Rose talks about Bernard and his fingers swelling up whenever they take a trip. And just the love that she has for him when they're talking about that. It will eventually be revealed. These people have only been together like a year and a half, but they're so in love.
Yeah.
They're soulmates.
They are.
soulmates.
Yeah.
And I just love that it's one of those things that these people didn't find each other until their 60s. And they were their love is still that strong. It's just so beautiful to me.
I would agree.
You know,
I would agree, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I did want to make a note
Okay.
about something. This is like the third episode of Sawyer that we see him. And that was in the pits. He has yet to say his famous catchphrase.
Oh.
We have not heard son of a bitch yet.
No.
Does he not say son of a bitch when Kate takes the gun from him in the pilot, part 2?
I have to rewatch one. I don't think so.
I don't
It could be wrong.
think he said. Yeah, I don't think he said it.
Huh. Yeah, no,
it's interesting.
well, it's going to take a little while before we get all these characters fleshed out and get to... Because we're still a few... Confidence Man is Sawyer's first episode with the inhaler. So we're still 5 episodes away from that, I think.
Who do you think he didn't say it until that episode?
Let's see.
I think he says it before then.
I don't think he's really in White Rabbit or House of the Rising Sun. Oh, he definitely says that in The Moth when Kate's talking a bunch of shit to him, and then he ends up doing that whole "I'm coming along for the adventure," and then sends Kate on her way.
Right.
He definitely says it in that episode.
One of my favorite, I think this is the right episode. The month in the Charlie episode, right?
That's the cave-in episode, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
Hulu.
That's one of my favorite Hulu episodes too. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one where he makes the golf course.
That's Solitary.
Yes.
Because you have because most of the episode happens with Sight. We don't need to talk about an episode you're not going to talk about for 5 weeks right now.
No, I love that episode because he even gets Jack out of his own head for a little while. I love who walks up when they're playing golf and they're just like, "You're playing golf?"
Oh my god, it's I know
who says that? That's one of the funniest lines. The way they deliver it.
It's the rash guy.
Okay.
Fun fact: the rash guy in Jacob's Cave is candidate number 1.
Really?
Yeah, so they all have numbers next to them. So I don't know if Jacob was like, this is my draft order, but if that guy was number 1, oof. I used to know everyone's candidate numbers, but I don't at this moment, and I apologize.
You know there was a guy who got sucked up in the propeller in the pilot?
Gary Troop, yes.
I wonder what number he was on.
I can talk to you offline. There's actually a lot of extended lore about Gary Troop. He is the author of the famously terrible book Bad Twin. He was in Australia because he was stalking his brother's ex-wife. The guy that gets sucked into the propeller, actually, that's one of the things I love about Lost. They were one of the first shows to embrace web content, where Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse, who hasn't come onto the show, but he will later. The two of them like really create podcasting, where the official Lost podcast is, I think, the first podcast ever really is considered one of the first podcasts ever recorded. But they also were doing all kinds of stuff with like the like secret backer of the Dharma Initiative. All that stuff was available online for you to find. Any fans of Lost, I really encourage you. If you've just watched the show, you know about 70% of Lost. There's another 30% of terrible stuff that is actually worse than anything on the show, but it makes you seem smart to a bunch of idiots on podcasts like right now. Bad Twin, real book, terrible. I read it. Written by Gary Troop.
Actual book?
Yeah, it's a real book written by a fake author who is the guy who died on Lost.
Gotcha. Okay.
And fun fact about him getting sucked into the propeller, in a messed up CGI thing, if you go slow motion on the plane crash, there's a little black dot that flies into the propeller right before the guy gets sucked into it, and then it explodes. A lot of people believed that was the smoke monster once we found out that it was in fact a smoke monster. But the creators confirmed it was just a CGI-ish mistake.
Wow.
Walkabout's a good episode, though.
I thought it was because, yeah.
Yeah, I can't help it that all this interesting stuff is coming from
It's
it.
absolutely interesting. I'm definitely.
I really recommend everyone check out The Hatch, The Storm, and Down the Hatch. 3 really great podcasts.
Okay.
Down the Hatch probably takes about the Moth before it actually becomes a good podcast. Before that, it's kind of hit or miss. But the other ones, very informative, really great stuff. There's a lot of great stuff out there.
And now this podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to plug all podcasts too.
I'd like to plug all podcasts ever recorded.
There was one more thing I wanted to mention, but I can't think of it. No. I know we could talk hours about this show. Is there anything else you want to bring up, Dave?
Let me just pull up my Lost. Is there anything else I want to say?
Oh, yeah.
Let's say, do you have anything about the Quans? Anything else about the Quans that we can talk about?
Daniel Day Canton, loved his character, but said he would only do it. He really wanted to do it, but he would only do it if they got to see Jin fully transform, because he didn't want to feed into the angry Asian male husband narrative that was going around. So he was like, I will do this show, but I need you to show that I'm a good guy, which is why in House of the Rising Sun, we get the cool Rashomon style episodes where the next time we see those flashbacks, it ends with Jin crying in the bathroom.
Yeah. Wow. That is.
This is my lost binder, by the way. This is where I
I
keep all
love
my
that
lost
because I
notes.
think his arcs is one of the best ones for me in the show. It really is.
Yes.
I love his arc and
He's
hers
awesome.
and Sons. I really like Sons too.
I think can't forgive that they left that baby with no parent in the final season.
He's not a father. He's never met this child. No, I feel like Sun shouldn't have come back to the island for Jin. Okay? Jin, his whole thing is I want to find Sun. He finds Sun. He dies with Sun. I'm fine with it. Sun's a bad mom.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
that's
I
fair.
know. I mean,
That is fair.
I wonder who she left the baby with.
I would imagine her and Jin's dad met and they seemed chill. Maybe she left him with Jin's dad.
Or her mom. Isn't her mom in your life?
Yeah, but her dad's a dick. Like, I'm gonna don't leave him with Mr. Pake.
Yeah, that's true.
And who knows, maybe Kate and Claire with Aaron and the baby and Clem's baby together.
Oh, I'd like to imagine in the Ghostbusters sequel, which is Kate, Sawyer, Miles, and Richard, when they get off the island, they go, first stop, we're going to get Sun's baby, and we're racing it.
I like to think in my own headcanon, Sawyer, Kate, Claire, and who is Sawyer's baby's mama's name?
Cassidy.
I like to think they always all their kids together, and then there's one big happy messed up family.
Messed up family. Definitely a messed up family.
Richard Alpert's there as like the older uncle.
I can't wait till we get into Richard Alpert.
That's long way.
I know. And there's been another long way. But
Not too long.
eh,
This is the finale. You can talk about him in Deus Ex Machina.
yeah, we
But-
can.
The last thing I want to say with this episode is I love the connections that are formed between Claire and Jack in this episode. Because when the ceremony is supposed to be, they're supposed to have this memorial service for everybody. And Claire's the first one who goes to Jack and says, "Hey, I'm your sister. Sorry, I don't know that yet. Could you say something? Because you're kind of like the leader here." And Jack's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I just killed a guy. I'm sorry." He doesn't say that, but that's what I read. And then she says, "Maybe I should just do it." So I love her taking that initiative. And the way that the two siblings who don't know their siblings are kind of echoing each other in that way.
I like their relationship throughout the series.
I wish they did more with it, honestly.
Yeah. But then this isn't Game of Thrones, so it depends how deep you want to make that connection.
Oh no.
No, I don't want them to be hooking up, but like, I don't know that Jack ever, outside of the Sideways, ever sits Claire down and is like, "So our dad, eh?" I know Kate and Claire have that connection, but I don't think her and Jack ever actually have that talk.
Yeah, it would have been a little cooler if they would have just had that natural like big brother little sister relationship and then found out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But they can't. They didn't know.
But
No,
what
right.
they did know in the Sideways, I'm sure they remember. Like,
Yeah.
I will get there a long way, but when they remember in the Sideways, I'm thinking that's them. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you want me to? I don't know if this is the podcast for me to sit down and explain the Sideways.
We'll have you back.
Oh, no, absolutely.
We'll definitely have you back.
I've got to talk about how every episode is actually a different Sideways.
We really do. But, man, did we talk about Walkabout enough? I think we did.
Did we talk about Walkabout at all? I feel like we talked
I know,
about every
right?
No, we
other
did.
episode of Lost.
We did. Here's
So
the
where
funny thing
exactly?
about...
What was the destination for the walkabout? That's the question here.
Yeah, well, here's
Well,
the thing about
Walkabout's not going to a destination. It's to spiritually enlighten.
Well, that is.
here's the thing about Walkabout. Although there's nothing happened for the show, but in the episode itself,
Yeah.
it's a really basic episode and not that much happened about the episode itself. If that
Oh,
makes sense.
can I know we're about to wrap up, but can I ask one
Yeah.
more thing?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about them not showing John meeting the monster? Because later down the road, we'll hear Echo ask him about it, and he'll respond, "What I saw was beautiful."
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? We didn't see it now, but how did you feel about him meeting the monster and surviving?
I like it, but we don't see the monster in here late season 2, if not early season 3.
You see the
really-
monster in the finale of this season, because the smoke monster wraps up John's leg, and you see that.
Okay. Alright, man.
I mean, I was gonna say because I do remember the scene where they're flashing back to this point, and it's over top of him, and we get that sort. We get that sort of moment in this episode. We don't see it, but we see him looking up at something.
Yeah.
And he said, well, doesn't he say when he's talking to Echo, he says, it looked me dead in the face and then ran away. Or it just
I think you're combining this and Echo's stare down with the monster.
Oh, I think you're right.
Because
yes.
What John says to Echo is, I looked into the heart of the island and what I saw was beautiful.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I am.
Okay, I'm not coming up with this now. Maybe the monster saw him. Maybe the monster made a mental note. Okay, this guy is a guy I'm going to take over if I have to.
Yeah.
Get down the road.
Because he's seen him through time travel shenanigans. He knows who John Locke is.
Sure.
Right.
I only asked this question.
Is there any chance that that's John Locke at the end of the episode and not, or the smoke monster and not John Locke? At the very end?
No, because Locke is still a candidate and the smoke monster can't kill candidates.
Well, I know he's not dead, but I mean, just that he somehow, I don't know, just he fills in for him for the next episode or something.
No, we know because of
he's pretty evil in the next episode, actually, from what I remember now. He's somewhat.
No, he saves Jack when Jack tries to run off a cliff in the next episode. And he tells him a story that's fake.
Okay. All right. Well then, yeah. I've only seen the full series twice, all the way through. It's 3 times, maybe 3 times. Yeah. So. Yeah, maybe I'm definitely.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but smoke monster can't take over a body and you can't take over somebody and then that person is dead, right?
Don't get me started on what the rules of the smoke monster is. Because sometimes he can go over water, sometimes he can't. Sometimes they have to die on the island, but sometimes he's Ben's mom, who died 30 years ago, not on the island.
Okay, so on that note, we'll definitely have him back. We'll definitely have him back.
No, absolutely.
Dave, my man, my friend, tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me every week on Northern Entertainment Group. Go over there and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Group of the North. Just go check out those shows. We have a lot of great stuff. Whether you're fans of ranking, movie rewatches, TV news, we're talking about every episode of House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, She-Hulk, except for this week where we only talked about House of the Dragon because I had to come do this show. And tons of other stuff. If you're a fan of content, over there is where you need to be, and we have a lot of great stuff coming down the pipe soon. For me personally, follow me at Leaves Me Alone on Twitter or at Baby James Lees on Instagram.
Right. None, my friend, my partner in this. Tell all the good people where they can find you.
Yeah, so you guys can find me on Twitter at Jedi Master Tuck. You can also find me here every Sunday on Geekdom Uncut. Every Monday. Geez, I'm trying to remember them all now. I just went blank for a minute, man. I'm sorry. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Yeah, Fellowship. Tuesday for the Initiative, Geekdom Initiative, and every Wednesday for Jedi Academy. And come find me in the Facebook group also, guys, Multiverse of Geekdom, and please like and subscribe on the channel, guys, please.
And you guys can find me at my Twitter, man. Radio Band 5. Every Monday through Wednesday on this channel, Friday on Weekly Geekdom. You guys can also find me on Dave's channel, the Northern Entertainment Group. Every Tuesday on the Run That Tape, and every Saturday morning on Another Countdown. I had a brain fart for a second.
That's okay.
I did it too, man.
I'm sleeping every day, guys. I'm sleeping every day. It gets confusing. So until next
I get 8 hours of sleep every night. I swear.
Sullivan. That's the rash guy's name.
Oh.
Sorry, I've been thinking about it for like 10 minutes.
Nice.
And I looked up at my Funko Pop of Sully, and I was like, it's Sullivan.
On that note, son of a bitch, we did it. We'll see you next week. In the news.
Bye, guys.
Bye.